IT and Gadget Solutions on YouTube. I'm Craig and I'm going to show you how you can bootcamp Windows 10 on a macOS system. So the purpose of this is to show you can use Windows 10 on a macOS system. So if you were a Windows person but you want to have Windows on the macOS system but keep your macOS as well, we can both separate a partition. So on one partition you have your macOS system and on the other you can have Windows 10 alongside it. This is done by obviously dividing and partitioning your drive. Your macOS will be unaffected. The only one we'll be doing is adding a partition for Windows 10 to be used on your system. So I'll take you through how this process is done. So the pros and cons of this is really if you want to have certain programs that Windows can only run and a macOS system can't, you will be able to do that by using bootcamping both systems on a macOS system. So let's get into this video and let's show you how you can do this. I previously downloaded my Windows 10 iOS image file already, but what I'll do is I will show you how you can get to it. So open your default browser, whether it's Safari or in my case Firefox. I use Firefox because of the streaming with Facebook and all that, so I like, because obviously I do streaming through Facebook, but Safari don't. So, but with Windows, you can do that. So there's many restrictions with macOS that Windows doesn't have, and you'll be able to do this. So, but obviously you're going to be put in Microsoft webpage. So put in your Microsoft.com webpage, and then obviously to get to Windows 10 ISO image for you to download, I've previously already downloaded, like I mentioned. So go towards the bottom and you need to go to download center, Windows. Now normally it's going to bring up Windows 11. This obviously Windows 11 is not compatible with the Bootcamp assistant for us to go to have this working for. So, and then as we can see, we can go Windows 10, we can come in here, but it doesn't give you the actual direct link to the ISO, but it does. So sometimes it depends on how Microsoft works with their website. Sometimes they remove it, sometimes they don't, but as of now they still give you the function of downloading Windows 10 ISO file from their webpage. So let's download. So to download this, as you can see just here, it is the most recent up-to-date Windows 10 2023 update version 22H2. This is for Windows 10 Home and Windows 10 Pro. Obviously they are both built in into the same file image. So you select Windows 10 Multi Edition and then confirm. It'll validate your request. Then we need to select product language. We'll go down to English International, or pick your country, wherever you're going to be downloading it for this from, for your language, and then confirm. Again, it will validate it that way, and your link now is being verified. Your link is valid for 24 hours from the time you click of its creation. So in this circumstance, we got to the 25th of the 1st 2026 at 17:52 to download it. So it gives you 24 hours from the time and day you click for the download. Now, and that gives you two links, 32-bit and 64-bit. Now, I can't remember off the top of my head what 32-bit is and 64-bit is, but Windows works off 64-bit and 32-bit as well. So I'll just show you what 32-bit is compared to 64-bit, and basically you're upgrading the architecture of the Windows itself. So 32-bit is x86 to as compared to 64-bit is x64 Windows, which is, and obviously it needs a clean installation when you're installing, but basically that is just all to do with the architecture, how Windows works. So it doesn't matter either, but it depends on what your CPU can run. So you would have to find that out through your system, but we won't go through that. But this video entails of bootcamping the Windows 10. So, but yeah, if you want information, then obviously Google is your best friend, and basically it can tell you what information you need and what is the difference. It's basically like I put there, it says main difference between 32-bit and a 64-bit system is the amount of memory they can address. So if you want a lot more information, go into that and search for your information what you need. So in my bit, we need 64-bit because macOS runs currently on 64-bit Intel, which is my Mac I've got currently. So we could download, and then it starts to download itself. So yeah, it'll download through your internet, depending on how quick your internet is. I'm on a 1.2 gigabyte internet, so this won't take long at least. The file is about 5.7 gigabytes, so the quicker your internet, the quicker the file download will be. So as you know, it's got -1 at the end. This is because I already initially downloaded it through my Finder. So you go to Finder, downloads, that into your playing like that, right, downloads. So this is your ISO year. So this is the one that's currently downloading on the Mac. It shows you how much progress it does. But yeah, so that is the download file you will currently need to Bootcamp for Windows to work with your iMac system. So what we can currently do now is we could cancel it, but we'll use this fresh download, and we can delete the other file, so we know we've got a proper link, so it is less likely to be corrupt or get stuck during installation, etc. So we'll delete that one and let that fully download. So in the next 2 seconds it is done, and there you go, fully downloaded of the Windows 10 we need. So what I will say is the Windows 10 we will be installing, you might because you're doing Bootcamp, you do not have to have a license key. You can use it for free, but if you wanted to buy a license key for it, you can. So you would have to go through Windows itself to purchase it, a license key for it if you wanted to use it fully. Basically, by purchasing a license key for the Windows, it unlocks certain features which you can, such as like customization. So without the license key, customization is locked without the license key. So stuff like that if you wanted to have full Windows installed. So we close down everything. We've got the file. What we need to do now is go into your launch pad on your MacBook or macOS, on your iMac, etc. Then open Bootcamp System. We'll just quit Firefox. And then it takes you through, it tells you the information you need, tells you what it's about. So this will only work on an Intel based Mac. This will not work on any other Mac systems such as Tahoe, Sonoma, Catalina, all that lot kind of thing. So it won't work. You need an Intel based to Bootcamp Windows. Continue here. So then it will just go through. Now the Bootcamp assistant has done it for us. It's looked for the file, but if it hasn't, then what you would have to do is you would have to go choose normally. If it doesn't pick it up, go into downloads and pick the Windows 10 link and then go open. And now this talks about your actual drive, which needs to be partitioned for Windows to be installed on this. Don't forget, also obviously do remember, this will remain unaffected to your macOS system. It's only asking you to create space for the Windows to run on. So the more Windows disk space it has, the more better fluid the operating system will work better with. So the more memory, the more quicker it is. So by doing this, you can just hold and drag how much gig you want on Windows. So this will be installed alongside your macOS system. So I would suggest going about 150, 100. So if you go 150, just about there. Normally it is pretty late to get 150. So 152. So you could choose how much you want, but don't put too much on less gig on the macOS system, because the less it has, the more likely your macOS and the installation will not go through. But it would struggle with installing it. So click install. This will now mount and verify the ISO. It will download the Windows support software, and it will start doing the installation of Windows itself. Now they will download all the files it needs, the drivers, etc. It will do a few numerous restarts, and basically it will just do all that. Now sometime after this, I'm gonna have to cut my recording here, because obviously due to restart in the computer for it to install properly, and I will let you know how far we will get. So we're at halfway stage now, where Windows starts to install the necessary files onto the Windows partition of this setup using Bootcamp. So it'll be asking what languages, terminal currency, keyboard, etc. What also I will say is, Because we're using the macOS system, some features, such as like the @ symbol on this one, that won't work. So it'll be like the normal recommended keyboard. So you would have to press Command and that one to get your @ symbol, and not that one. So certain features will not work as a normal keyboard. So, but it will basically use the same functionality anyway. So everything's all set for us there, and click next. Now it brings the activation window set up here to activate Windows itself. Now it asks you if it's the first time or whether you're installing on a different edition. As far as Windows installation knows, it thinks it's been installed on a normal Windows laptop, not a Mac OS. So Windows is thinking, hang on, am I being installed on a normal laptop? No, it's been installed on a Mac OS. So what you would have to do is you have to buy a product key, license key, which you can buy from Microsoft.com or on the store. I think they go around about 30 to 50 quid a key, license key, but because we're only using this just on the Mac OS system, we are free to use the Windows as we see fit, because it's free to use. But like I said, mention only certain features you'll be able to use, so you sure won't be able to customize that way, etc. So we can't put in the key because we haven't got a key. So, and it says there, I don't have a key, as you can see, just on there. So we click that one, and now it brings up what operating system we will wish to install. Now it gives you various operating systems you may wish to install, whether you want to install the normal own basic standard Windows program, or the home. I can't remember what N stands for. I can't remember off the top of my head. Or the single language, education. If you're doing education, it's for the Windows education, like schools, etc. Or you can install the Pro or the Pro Education, or workstations if you're working at home or from home. So in this case, it's pretty selected. Windows 10 Home. Click next. This is the licensing terms, so just do scroll through quickly. But if you're one who likes to read legal matters and stuff, you can read it through. Click I accept. Well, if you don't click accept, then you can't continue with the setup. Click next, and now this will start copying the files for Windows to be installed on the partition we've already done. So it's done that bit. It'll get the files ready for installation. It'll then install the features such as control panel, system, put the programs it needs, devices, hardware, etc. Then it'll do an update what it requires, such as Microsoft Net Framework, all that what it needs for Windows to work properly and safely on your Mac OS. But obviously, yes, we're using Mac OS, but we're using the partition to be installed alongside Mac OS system. So that'll just continue installing as you go through. It'll restart again, reinstall the necessary drives and so forth. So But yeah, I'll get back to you once we are finally at getting ready page of being launching the main Windows system, so then I can take you through on what that will do. So yeah, so we're almost there at the final stages of installing Windows 10 to the macOS system. So this is again another setup that Windows does. So it's now asking for your region, so it's automatically selected. So the United Kingdom, click yes. And it asks you about your keyboard. So English, United Kingdom, yep. We do not want to add a second keyboard, so skip. And now it'll go back through again, set the important setting up of Windows. So this is just the final adjustments where Windows would need to do. So it tells you don't turn off your device, otherwise installation would be a failure and you would probably have to start over again. More importantly, your computer might not start up. So I suggest just go and be patient with this kind of setup with Bootcamp Assistant. If you do it all right, then it eventually will install it completely. So again, this is just like doing a clean install of Windows on a normal laptop. It's the same thing, just adding Windows Mac to the Mac OS. So it's the same way, really. Obviously, we are able to work with different OS systems on one iMac, whether it be an iMac or your MacBook. So it's just doing its final adjustments. It can be a little bit, how can I say, impatient, but if you just be patient with the program itself, it will get you up and running fast enough. Now, if you were to do this on the MacBook with the different OS, such as like Tahoe, Soma, or whatever, this won't work. So it doesn't matter what kind of thing it would do. Now it's asking to add your account. Now we can't unfortunately get around this to put a local account on. So the only one way we can do is add an online account. So I'm just going to do this off screen. Now if you've got 2FA authentication added to your account, like I have, and it will ask for like a security key. Now at this stage you can't do this because if you've got like a security key USB you can, but I've got like because I've got Apple, it's made up my actual key is not what it says on there, so it's using 2FA authentication. So I've got to go cancel and then sign in another way. And then I've got to confirm my email, which is you can't see, it's all thingied out. I've got to just confirm my email. Confirm your email if you've got 2FA authentication on. So it asks you to confirm your email. which you then get a code in your email, which then you confirm for the final setup to be done. So I'm now going to go into my emails. You get a 6 security digit code. It's all random, so you get one sent to email. It's not worth writing this down. It's because once I use this, it expires straight away. So you'll always get the new code either way. So this is now adding my personal account with Windows, so I'll be able to use my online features. So it now creates a pin you could be using to log into Windows. So I'm just going to do this. So once that's done, you go through, press enter, and it adds that. Now it asks like different features of Windows there. So go through it, asks about your location. If you want to let Microsoft and your apps use your location. I'm only using this for macOS, so I'll just go no for this for now. Find my device, no. Send required diagnostics there to them. So if you get any problems with Windows, they can help you. I believe Windows 10 has finished, but they only help you with stuff with like installation, etc. Go no on linking and typing, accept. Get tailored experiences with diagnostic data. So you can say yes on that if you want. If you're not into any of that, you can press no. Let apps use advertising ID. We don't like ads, do we? So we're going to say no, accept. You can now customize your experience for you're going to be using Windows 4, whether it's going to be for entertainment, gaming, creativity, such as Microsoft Word, etc., or business, tracking like expenses, managing your business, family, connecting like online social networks, etc., or if you're doing for school education, so you can take it. So I'm just going to be creativity. And basically that's all I will do on this for now. So accept. Now this is another feature Windows is good, and for you can use your Apple device that Windows 10 won't, is not compatible for that. So this feature is to ask you if you want to add your Android phone, such as my Samsung one here I've got. That's the Samsung one, so I could use this with that if I wanted to like make it take calls, send messages, and use mobile apps on the Windows system. So I'm going to say no because I don't want it. Then asks you then if you want to protect your files with Windows backup. So if you go Microsoft, so if you've got Microsoft Word, you're more likely to have Microsoft 365. With that, is a subscription based. I have that. I pay $5.99 a month, so I do have that. So but on the account I've put in, you got to make sure you put the right account that you use for your subscription in. So click next. I don't want to enjoy my phone's photos on my PC, so I'll skip on that. And this is just the final services adding to your Windows installation. So it tells you what you can do. So use Word, Excel, and PowerPoint for free. Because obviously you can use it online. You don't have to have a subscription. It just does it for you. And Cortana, in today's technology, you get all different AI assistants. So you get like Cortana Windows, like Alexa, etc. Blah blah blah. So I'm not going to use that. So I'm going not now. And now it's just now polishing up the last features you've just done to add into Windows, vice versa, and it will restart again, and you're presented with the actual final dialogue of Windows being finally installed after over. It depends on the speed of your iMac. So this took about just under an hour in total. So yeah, we are almost there. So as we know, we are now into Windows, and you get your network is identified, and that if you want it to be private or anything, so we go yes on that just quickly, and then you get Bootcamp. So Windows is now officially installed on the partition. So we just go finish off the Bootcamp there. It's got to be installed on the Windows side of things, and then we'll just install it that way. So as we know now, Windows is fully installed. It will just continue to install Bootcamp because this is just Windows just needs it to, if you want to use Bootcamp on the Mac. So it's just us installing its necessary features. It needs it to work with your mouse, your keyboard, all that lot, and it's basically installing its drivers, except your Wi-Fi, all that information needs for Windows to work smoothly on your macOS system. So that's just finishing there, and you will get if you want to install this device, install, and it will just install as you go through installing Bootcamp on the Windows partition drive. So that is the installation of it all. So any questions you want to ask on this video, do please pop it down in my YouTube channel page. Again, the IT Guided Solutions, obviously, I'm Craig. Please do subscribe on my channel and follow for any more new content that may seem to be arised. I'll try and bring as much as I can. But yeah, so to change quickly, to change different from macOS to Windows, you need to use your option key on your macOS keyboard, that way. So then you will be presented when you restart your computer. You'll have two drives, one Windows on the right hand side, and on the left you'll have Mac OS. Now I'll show you, now that's finished, that's requiring a restart. I'll show you now what I mean. So finish, that's restarting. So on your keyboard you'll see there option. So just before, you need to press this before your computer starts back up. That one there. Press and hold. The option button as well as on the right hand side. So keep holding your option button. Right, there we go. There we have it. It's now brought up exactly what we need. The two drives we need. So on the left hand side, like I just said, your Apple macOS is unaffected, still there, so you can boot into your macOS system. And on the right, we have Windows itself. So we've seen Windows has been installed, so we now can click the Apple macOS system. So press return. So to choose, you choose your left or right arrows. Obviously the mouse won't work. Well, it will, but it's very slow. I would suggest using your arrows on the keyboard, left or right, and press enter. So we go into macOS, enter, and there's macOS itself. Now macOS does take a while to boot in. It allows up to about 2 to 5 minutes, depending how slow it is. But that is it, I think, for the video. So it's Windows installed on one partition, Mac OS on the other. So I'm Craig. Thank you for watching this video. Please subscribe and turn your notifications on. Drop any comments or opinions in my feed, and like this page. Thank you. I hope you have a nice day and enjoy my channel at IT and Gadget Solutions on YouTube.